start the week, of course, with news doing the rounds of a possible shutdown. Law enforcement agencies are said to be on high alert as measures are being put in place to ensure the safety of South Africans amidst these threats of a national shutdown tomorrow. To talk to me about KwaZulu-Natal's readiness, we are joined by the KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala. Premier, good evening and thank you very much for your time and being available to talk to us today. The unrest that befell South Africa last month and the response of the citizens surrounded by the unrest, particularly in your province, KwaZulu-Natal, indicated more that South Africans have lost faith in government and government's ability to function the way that it should, particularly when it comes to protecting them. What are you doing to restore that confidence?
Thank you, and thanks for having us in your program. Firstly, as government, we want to reiterate our message that there is no shutdown tomorrow. For us, and as far as we are concerned, tomorrow it's a business day, it's a working day, like all normal days. We call for calm and all people to be calm, to go to work, and all business operations to continue as usual. We have improved on security readiness to deal with a disorder or public protest, and security was overwhelmed, we must say, by the number of incidents that took place. And this time, we are ready, we have enough capacity, and that has even been complemented by the availability of members of the SANDF. So we have more personnel, we have also more resources, and the government is ready and prepared to protect all citizens of the country.
The consistent message we heard from government, particularly at national, even at the highest office, that of the president, is that government did not do all that it could do to respond timely to the unrest. And one of the features of the unrest that caught many off guard in Gauteng as well as in KwaZulu-Natal was the suddenness of the looting and the rioting. What have you done in the province to improve on your sources of overt and even covert information that would alert you in time?
Firstly, we are consolidating and able to analyze all information we get, even that which emerge as false news or report. We follow it to the basis or to its foundations. We are able to analyze the situation as a whole, and we are able to follow trends of any mobilization that is taking place. We are ready to act and react quickly and within the law. We want all of the people to be assured that police are there, the security agencies are ready, and there are those who are mobilized for a shutdown. There are others now who are beginning to mobilize for countering the shutdown. We are saying all of that is unnecessary and wrong. Yeah. The government is ready to protect the people of the country, the assets, and the infrastructure as a whole.
Have you identified the instigators on both sides? Because if you had to look at the various stages of intervening or at least averting an unrest, the first one they'll tell you is you need to talk to both sides. You need to identify the leaders in each campaign. Do you know who they are? Are you talking to them to understand the scale and the magnitude of what could possibly happen here?
We're talking to leaders of areas where we see instability or some form of mobilization. I must say that the unfortunate situation is that this information is peddled through social media, and in some cases there is a use of fake account. And that fake account is meant to generate fake news, and therefore that's why we are saying let us deal with those sources, those accounts, understand who established such accounts and take actions. But where it involves the community, we are engaging with communities.
Let's ask a little bit more detailed question, Premier, and I hope you can be able to help us. Where you're sitting now, are you aware of implementation plans that will address any eventuality? I know you're saying there will be no shutdown. It's business as usual. But should there be something sudden that you were not aware of, have you addressed that as far as implementation plans that are in detail? In other words, that will say what must be done, how it must be done by whom and when.
Yes, we do have an implementation plan led by the security cluster involving all security agencies of the state, and we have been briefed and they are ready, and therefore we call on all people to know that the police are there, the law enforcement agencies as a whole, they are there. And those who would want to do wrong things, undermine law and order, they will face the music.
Yeah. And as far as you are aware, those plans, have they been submitted to the authorities that need to approve them, and have they been approved?
All plans that have been developed have been engaged by relevant structures, including the national structures, and as far as we know, they are in place, they are being implemented already. And we must know that also these include enforcing regulations such as Disaster Management Act, which impose a curfew and other things. So we are not just looking on one incident, we are looking on everything, and our approach is holistic. Yeah.
There is a sense of perceived lack of mission clarity, particularly when we speak of leadership in your organization, but also in your province, where there was a sense that you were not speaking from the same hymn book, or at least reading from the same hymn book, as far as the various messaging that was coming from the various quarters. It's certain that leaders in the province have a role to play here. What have you done to coordinate that messaging, that you're all rallying in and you're speaking with one voice?
As leaders, political leaders from the ruling party, the African National Congress, but also from all political parties, when we are faced with a state of a situation of this nature, we have to prioritize the interest of the country, the interest of the people, and that is stability, and that is ensuring that we protect the infrastructure, the livelihood of the people, and that's why it is important that we speak from the same understanding, and where we differ, we should engage on issues, but we must talk one language, one direction, and ensure that we are able to quell and address all tensions and challenges.
Right. What resources have you committed to this particular campaign?
Well, there are resources from police, SANDF, and all other members that are involved, and that comes from operational allocations that are there, and I think that will be better left to various agencies to deal with that at an appropriate stage.
So, I mean, what you're saying, you're guaranteeing us, as far as those resources are concerned, that there is additional personnel. I mean, I have no knowledge of evidence of additional personnel that has been added. Would you maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Since the eruption of the unrest, there was an additional personnel coming from national in a form of members of SAPS and in a form of SANDF. All of those members are still in the province working, supporting the personnel that is in the province.
As far as equipment is concerned, the last conversation we had with you was the shortage, for example, of body armor, water cannons, shields, and so on and so forth. What has happened as far as that is concerned?
We believe that there is improvement, though we cannot be at a high level overnight, but such things are addressed incrementally, and we believe that even that will be addressed by relevant departments as we go on.
Premier, so key message from you tonight as the Premier of the province, one of those which was hit by the unrest in July, but also seemingly your organization's emblem, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, being used in this messaging. What would you say at this time?
We are very clear to all people of the province and the country in general. Let us restore peace and order. Let us not be misled by fake news. Let us not mobilize against other people. Let us be calm. There is no shutdown. There is nothing that will be out of control. We learn from what happened in July. We are ready to take any action that will protect the people, the livelihood, and the assets, whether private or public. We call for order in all areas, and let us continue with our normal day, because tomorrow is a normal day. It is not a shutdown. It's a normal day. Let's continue with our activities as usual.
Premier, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us tonight.